Alright, this is a little video of my chest freezer refrigerator conversion. It's just a 3.5 cubic foot chest freezer, and put a temperature controller in so it can be adjusted to whatever temperature I want it set at. I cut this out with a Dremel here, and then had to hollow some of the foam out to fit it in. And then on this side, the wires are coming out for it. I just got a long metal rod. I was going to heat it up. I thought I had to melt the foam as I pushed it in, but I just pushed it straight through, popped out both wires, and ended up popping out right here. Perfect. And I just taped the wires to it real good and pulled it back through to get the wires through the lid. And they come out here and run. Also the little temperature sensor, I just got tucked under the leather stripping or gasket right there into the refrigerator. But these wires come out. I just stuffed them right through the little vent on the back there. And then this was actually the plug wire. I just snipped that off and then wired everything directly into that. That way this old thermostat or whatever still works. If this was set to like minus 50 degrees, this would be the one controlling the temperature to whatever it goes to, like minus 15 or something. So it can still be used as a chest freezer. But now this thing's set. I'm just kind of testing it right now. I have it set. It's actually going to kick on here in a second. At 40 degrees it kicks on. You'll see these lights down here light up any second. There's like a 2 degree, it's set at 38, but it has to get to 40 to kick the compressor on. That way every time it gets to 38 degrees, if it shuts off, it'll kick the compressor right. There it goes right now. Yeah, that way it doesn't constantly kick the compressor on and off to adjust it like 0.2 of a degree. That'll save the compressor a little bit from what I heard. But there is one thing though, whenever the compressor's running for a little bit and it shuts off at 38, it'll still go down because I guess there's still a little refrigerant going through the lines. I wanted to add foam all around this thing to just make it way more efficient, but I guess the condenser coils must zigzag through the walls of the freezer, because I felt them and they felt a little bit warm, and there's nothing on the back, so they're definitely built in. The only pipe down here, this little pipe here gets warm, so, and it's going right up into the wall, or the back I guess, but I guess that's the going to the condenser cooler. So if I blocked everything off, this little 1 foot length of pipe would be the only thing letting the heat out. If I put foam up, I'd just be blocking everything else in. But yeah, this little temperature controller came in this box here. It is model MH1210F. I think I got it for like 13 bucks on eBay. They make a 220 volt 110, which this is, and they make a 12 volt one too. Kind of thinking I maybe should have got the 12 volt, and I'm not sure exactly how that would have worked, because I wanted this to be super efficient for my camper, and well, it's pulling 68 watts right now, but when the compressor's not running, it's still pulling 1 watt, which isn't much at all. But I plan on running this on solar, so ideally it would be pulling absolutely nothing until it kicked on. which the 12 volt model of this would still be lit up and constantly pulling something, but I'd like to have it where, because it's going to be running through an inverter, I'd like to have it where once it needed the compressor to come on, it kicked on the inverter to run the compressor. But yeah, I have a mini fridge I might try wiring up that way, so just wiring the inverter right into the thermostat, and that way once the temperature gets high enough it'll kick on the inverter and adjust the temperature, then shut the inverter back off once it's done. Because the inverter, when the inverter's on constantly, the inverter draws power also, and I don't want to have to keep the inverter on just to run this, which pulls a watt. So if the inverter pulls, you know, 2 watts or whatever just running, I'm sure it'll be more than that. I think some of them I saw it was like 0.5 of an amp they draw in like standby mode just being on. I'm not sure how many watts that would be, but yeah, if I could save burning up those little bit of watts, you know, would be nice. But I was thinking too, this is empty right now, so it's like the temperature, once the compressor goes off, the temperature rises pretty quick. But I'm sure once there's a bunch of food in it and everything, I was thinking of putting a bunch of down in that lower part, putting some kind of container and filled with water or whatever to absorb a lot of the cold, or even freezing it, having it turn to ice, and then once I'm not getting solar overnight, hoping that all that ice will help it coast through the night without having to run. Yeah, this is another thing. This thing here, that little sensor down there is telling me it's 14.9 degrees down there, and then this box itself has one thermostat built into it that's supposed to read the outside temperature, but it's inside and it's saying 36. So I guess that's more about right, but yeah, the temperature is all over the place inside here. If down there is 14 degrees, up here is 36. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more testing once I have food in it and everything, and see how it is then. But yeah, I like having this up here. I think it looks pretty cool. It's not necessary. Like, you could actually just build a box with this thing in with an outlet, and then you wouldn't even have to chop any wires or wire anything at all. Inside the chest freezer, you just plug the chest freezer into the box that you have this wired into. Because all this thing does is just tells it when to turn on and off. Like, that's basically it. So it will work exactly the same. And if I ever wanted to officially turn it back into a chest freezer, I just have to take those wire this back up, directly back up to this half, and just basically cut out the little controller I put in. But yeah, once I test it some more and get some stuff in it and everything, maybe I'll make another little video. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy. It's kind of hard to figure out these instructions here. A little tricky to figure out. You can tell someone who could barely speak English wrote them, but yeah, I got it figured out. So that's it. Yeah, I'll make another video once maybe even once I get it installed in the camper, and I'm gonna put like some type of cutting board over the top of this. So I was worried too. I hauled this out a little further back than I needed to, so there's like no insulation. But I figured the top of it was the best spot where cold air, sinks. So I bet this insulation doesn't really necessarily have to be as thick as the rest. But down here would also be a good option. It's hollow from like here and then across here. Where you go into that side, it's all hollow. So you could even put it, I'd guess one of the best spots would just be like right here. But you could take this whole thing out and just wire it in place of that. So you could maybe leave that knob there and just cut a section out where these lights are. Which I also thought, I mean, it wouldn't be much at all, but I thought of just disconnecting these little lights because they're pointless. And the way I'm going to have it installed, you're not going to be able to see them anyways. And I really doubt I'm ever going to need to turn this back into a freezer. But it's nice that if I ever did need to, I mean, if I do find something, a better idea, I have a mini fridge that I might dick around with and try and turn it into a super efficient little refrigerator. But my plan with that is just cut all the casing off. It's the same as this. It has the condenser coil like running up and down inside the walls of the fridge, I'm assuming. So I mean, I'm just going to completely cut it apart, just leave all the compressor and all the piping like intact, so I don't have to get it recharged or anything, and just try and build around that with, I kind of want to try and build something with like 6-8 inches of foam board, just a box with the evaporator coil in the middle of it and the condense. I might be getting those backwards. Yeah, the evaporator coil is the one that gets cold, and the condenser is the one that gets hot and sucks the heat out. But yeah, get them as far away from each other as possible. So that actually might be my next project, but yep, that's it for now. Just wanted to make a quick video. My little project. Yeah, this isn't even glued in here yet or nothing either. There's a tiny gap there, but you can't really see it unless you get up close. But yeah, it opens and closes fine. I'm going to do something else with this little sensor. I doubt I'm going to, I don't know. I'd like to drill a hole and get it so you don't see that wire hanging through. But, I mean, I could run it underneath and take out the sensor for this and put it in place of that, but I'm not sure if you can extend this wire. Yeah, I'm not sure how these work. Like, I don't know if I could cut that wire and then solder it, like add a little extension in it and make it longer. I don't know if that'll like affect its accuracy or anything, but I might check into that. Alright, that's it.